Hey folks, Jim Thomas here, Fitness Management and Consulting, and welcome to our channel today. I appreciate y'all being here. And if you're new to the channel, if you're finding us for that very first time, welcome. It's good to have you. And our topic for you today is examples of negative attitudes in gym sales. Examples of negative attitudes in gym sales. Now, before we get into our topic today, just a quick reminder, my focus, my mission here in the channel is I want to be able to provide as much information as I can, to as many people as I can across the globe. And the best way I can do that is when you choose to subscribe to the channel. So if you've not yet done so, please take a moment, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. And then to learn more about me, learn more about my company and how we can help take your business to that next level, be sure to check out those links below. And then for you folks that are looking to open a new gym, you need funding, you have an existing operation, you may need working capital, we can help provide funding for you for up to $400,000. It is unsecured, there's no restrictions on use, minimum credit score of 680 in all three credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and minimum income of $50,000 per year each of the two previous years. And of course, that's the baseline. The higher those numbers, the more you can potentially qualify for. And check out our links below under financing and funding for several different options for you, based on your current needs. And if you have any questions about our topic today, if you have any questions about financing or funding, feel free to email me direct. Be happy to get right back with you. So with that said, let's jump into our topic here today, and it's examples of negative attitudes in gym sales. Examples of negative attitudes in gym sales. And I can give you an example. There's things like, you can have theft and other things, or what are fireable offenses. And so, I'm not really talking theft and things like that so much as it is, our behavior in the sales process. But what's a fireable offense? And to me, it's attitude. Bad attitude, that's a medical issue. That'll take you down, okay? And I can remember doing a training class one time in a club, and we'd spent the weekend there with them and doing a full evaluation and doing training with them, and we're heading back to the airport. And, owner was asking lots of questions, what do you think? How about thoughts here? And I said, one of the things I would do as soon as you drop me off, I'd go back to the gym. You've got two gals in there that have really bad attitudes, and they're going to infect everybody else in your gym. And all the good that we accomplish is going to get undone with that. And unless that can be changed, and be changed immediately, you need to let them go. And you'll find your business will improve. And as it turns out, he did eventually let them go. And this was a club that went from doing 30 sales a month to 100 sales a month, just because of process, but also because of attitude. Okay, so don't underestimate, and don't necessarily say, oh, well, hey, our attitudes are good. Take a good look at it, and really decide, where is everybody, and where are we sometimes? Because sometimes, if we're not careful, it might be us. And so I want to give you some thoughts, some things to think about on examples of negative attitudes in gym sales. And so, number one, people that are making just careless mistakes. You've got folks you're working with, whether it be, collecting leads, whether it be making outbound calls, booking appointments, confirming appointments, following the sales process, turning in forms, turning in information, doing a point of sale referral presentation, whatever it is, okay? But careless mistakes are being made. Are you seeing this? Okay, and maybe they just don't know. Maybe maybe there's something there you can fix. But be mindful of it. If you've got folks making careless mistakes, you might have a little attitude issue on your hands here. You want to get this stuff stopped now, because this will feed into your gym. This will feed into your business and start having an impact. Number two, examples of negative attitudes in gym sales that we see: being rude to coworkers and senior management. Being rude to coworkers and senior management. I tell you, it's one of the things that I see frequently, that happens. You might have a top producer, and that top producer, they're rude to coworkers. They're rude to senior management. And ownership is reluctant to let them go because, they do such a good job of new signups. But their attitude is over here, and their attitude's over here, and they do all these things. You're better off cutting them loose. You're better off cutting them loose. You want, good attitude and follow the process. If someone has a bad attitude, don't keep them around. If they're rude to coworkers, rude to senior management, even if they're a top producer, that's not somebody you need. Now, that's not to say we don't try to fix them, but there's not a big window there because this whole attitude thing, is going to be a choice. Number 3, not taking responsibility for their mistakes. Not taking responsibility for their mistakes. Again, whatever it is, maybe it's collecting new leads, making calls, things we talked about here. They're not taking responsibility. It's always somebody else's fault. Well, it's the club's fault. It's the owner's fault. It's this person's fault. It's the weather. Whatever it is, they're not taking responsibility for their mistakes. You need folks who are going to stand up and choose to be responsible, okay? And that's attitude, okay? And, sometimes it might just be that person is just not a fit, and that's what's causing this, okay? It doesn't necessarily, matter what the reason is, try to help them, if you're inclined to want to do that at this point. But if the attitudes are bad, just be mindful of that. This can really be harmful and will be harmful, to your business. Number 4. Skipping important meetings. I might even take that as far as saying skipping meetings. I mean, I want staff there. If we're doing training classes, I want them there. If we have meetings, I want them there. If they're not able to make it, you might have an occasion where that doesn't happen, but if they're missing important meetings and important information, or if you've got communication logbooks or marketing logbooks and they're not signing off on certain things, these could be telltale signs that you have an attitude issue. Because again, going back to what I said earlier, one of the things I've always found to be true, if we have a winning attitude and we follow the process, you're going to have success. Okay, that's the foundation. If you're struggling, if things aren't working, look at that. Look at winning attitude and look at the process. Make sure you got the right process. You can check the channel here for more information on that. As a matter of fact, you can check the channel here for more information on attitude and things of that nature. So, skipping important meetings. And then number 5 on my list of examples of negative attitudes in gym sales is not being accountable for your decisions and the consequences. Not being accountable. And it's one of the modern things. We have a tendency to point the finger. Oh, it's you. Oh, it's the club. Oh, it's the price. Oh, it's this. Okay? What you're looking for, winning attitude, follow the process. If your staff, if you have people that are choosing not to be accountable, you've got a problem. Okay? And one of the reasons accountability is so important, okay, it's the only thing you have 100% control over is you. I've got 100% control over how I think, how I act, my behavior, and everything that I do. I've got 100% control. Okay? I'm not going to be concerned with the other things that are there. I'm going to write that plan of action. I'm going to have roadblocks and setbacks. Okay, and then here's my solution, if that happens. But, not being accountable. So take a look at this. It gets, I think, probably underlooked at, in a sense, in that, negative attitudes, they'll bring you down. Okay, and you gotta clean it up. One of the other things I'd kind of wrap up here with, one of the things that happens, I touched on it earlier, you have really good people, and we decide good producers, not necessarily, good attitudes, and we keep them because we feel like, I don't want to lose that good producer. Watch out for that. But then the other thing, the other reason sometimes we don't make that change is you don't have someone there to replace them. And so you want to make sure that you have a recruiting plan of action in place. You can watch other videos on some of that. Or again, feel free to email if you have questions on that. Happy to chat with you about that. But you want to have a recruiting plan of action. You do not want to get held hostage by somebody that's got a negative attitude, that's not supportive of you and supportive of your company. So take a look at these, see if there's something there that maybe you haven't considered if you're not hitting the numbers you're looking for. So folks, again, my name's Jim Thomas. My company is Fitness Management and Consulting. Appreciate you being here at the channel today. And as I mentioned earlier, my focus, my mission here in the channel is I want to be able to provide as much information to as many people as I possibly can across the globe. And the best way I can do that is when you choose to subscribe to the channel. So if you've not yet done so, take a moment, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. And then to learn more about me, learn more about my company, and how we can help take your business that next level, be sure to check out those links below. And then for you folks that are looking to open a new gym, you need funding, you have an existing operation, you need some working capital, we can provide funding for up to $400,000, unsecured, no restrictions on use, minimum credit score of 680 or better in all three credit bureaus, minimum income of $50,000 per year each of the 2 previous years. You can check out the links below under financing and funding for more information on those programs and different options that you have, depending on your unique situations. And again, if you have questions on our topic today, you have questions on financing and funding, feel free to email me direct. I'll be happy to get back with you. Appreciate you all being here on the channel today. Look forward to seeing you all soon.